A story is trending right now that a Canadian broadcaster is removing the CTV from his vehicle because it's too unsafe to be identified as a journalist in Canada with the Freedom Convoy right now. Big thanks to Bill Doris, my Tittle Tattle cohort, for sending me this story. And before I get to my thoughts on all of this, as somebody who was driving a logo-less vehicle almost a decade ago and would like to just welcome this Canadian reporter to the club, I will just read you a quick snippet, okay? Not safe right now. Canadian reporter removes CTV logos from vehicle. And here you see the pictures. A Canadian reporter captured the moment CTV logos were removed from a work vehicle, citing safety as a reason for the removal. Jeremy Thompson of CTV News Edmonton tweeted the photos of the removal, adding, "I am proud of the excellent and vital work we do, perhaps more important now than ever. I'm proud to represent that in public, but it's just not safe right now." And this is a sad day for me. CTV Edmonton has made the decision to remove the branding from our vehicles for safety, is what this person wrote. And of course, all kinds of likes, support, and reaction coming from journalists across North America, the article says, including, "This is heartbreaking. Wow, so it's come to this. Pandemic journalism, hashtag, my stomach is churning. Unfortunately, many of my colleagues with other outlets in Calgary have had to do the same, and I'll tell you, there's a certain anxiety now when I drive in our marked vehicle and somebody pulls up slowly next to me. I guess all this talk about freedom doesn't include freedom of the press, a sad state of affairs. This is extremely scary." And finally, a sad sign of our toxic times when the importance of independent reporting and of investigative journalism has never been greater. We need more news and less opinion in the media, and less opinion disguised as news. Stop mindless abuse of journos and more considerate respect. Oh, I'll just read a few more. Why not? They're so good. "This is so shameful that it's come to this. Whatever happened to freedom of the press, a fundamental democratic right? A sad day for journalism in Canada." I'm going to balance the fact that reading some of that was like listening to the world's tiniest violin with the fact that I also believe that violence against journalists is wrong. You should let them do their job, even if they do a crappy job, without attacking them. I 100%, again, do not condone violence against journalists, no matter how mad you are at them for how terrible the news has become. Now, that said, as I mentioned earlier, in Seattle a decade ago, logo-less vehicles were just the norm. And a lot of that was because people are starting to realize that there was expensive gear in the car, and it would be a great place to rob. I have had friends leave the Bay Area, for instance, because that market is known for reporters, photographers getting either robbed or mugged or attacked. I don't know why they would come to Seattle instead, but as a step up, that should just tell you what it's like being in the Bay Area. But also, we were starting to get targeted for the same reason journalists are getting targeted now. And this is long before Trump was ever yelling fake news at the press. I was at protests in the Seattle area where people were screaming at how terrible we were, and not conservatives at all. Not conservatives at all. Trust me, the distrust and anger and vitriol towards the media is on many sides. And so that's why I think this is interesting, you know, to jump on. Like, this is a very, I think, opportune moment to say, oh, it's so sad what people think of journalism now. You know, this isn't right. You know, what about freedom of the press? Like, well, we were dealing with this a decade ago, and like I said, it was a totally different crowd than what you're seeing maybe right now. So welcome to the club, CTV. You know, again, not condoning violence against journalists at all, but just want to say that the issue has been building for a long time. And, you know, maybe there are tweets out there that I didn't read, and you could show me, put them in the comments, where there's a journalist who says, you know what, why do they feel this way about us? Why? Because it feels like every opportunity that we as journalists have, these glaring opportunities to ask why people think this about the media. Why would we be unsafe? Why would they target us? Why? You know, we miss that, and instead we look at it like these crazy conspiracy theory domestic terrorist types are, you know, they just don't want to accept the truth. They're living in some kind of alternate reality, and they don't want to accept the truth, and they're instead of dealing with the truth, they're attacking us. That's how it constantly feels. It'll be like, well, how do we end up this way? And, I saw this tweet a few days ago, and the account says not a journalist, this guy, Aaron Reed. So I don't know if this is parody. Views are my own, not a journalist. Don't know if this is a parody or not. But the quote is, overheard in our newsroom, I've been a cameraman for over 40 years, and I've never seen anything like this. Usually during a protest, they used to understand the power of the media and grant us prime locations to film it. But this is different. Now they see us as the enemy. Like I said, I don't know if that was a joke, if that's real, but it's interesting that that person wrote that, because there have been protests that I went to where we were put up front and center, where they wanted us there, they calling us ahead of time, and they even wait to start doing their action until we get there. And that's because they felt like they had the news on their side. They had the empathy of the news. And in this particular case, does it surprise anybody with Trudeau's emergency declaration, with this claim of freezing bank accounts and essentially starting to treat people like domestic terrorists, that you would be concerned about having the media around, that there would potentially be collusion between the media and the government that could affect what you're doing? I mean, is it surprising to anybody that you would be skeptical that there would be media working kind of as an arm of the government in this very tense situation? It doesn't surprise me. So it doesn't surprise me at all that people are having to remove their logos. The press has been working without a logo for a long time. And I'm not saying that there isn't something new to the tenor of what's happening right now. I'm just saying, like, welcome to the club. This has been going on for a long time. And maybe while defending the right of the press to work without being physically attacked, which I totally agree with, we could also start asking ourselves why there is so much distrust towards the media. And every institution at this point should be taking a hard look at itself. Public health and medicine, science, government. The institutions right now are looked at as the evil wizard behind the curtain. People are tired of it. And there's extreme distrust. And it just feels like more and more, instead of having the opportunity to wake up and take a look at how we got here, it's just doubling down, saying like, woe is us. We're the victims. You are the oppressors. You're the crazy people. And it's like, look at the power you have as the media. Who's really the victim? Like, honestly, because, you're removing logos from a vehicle, but you're still going to have the power to essentially craft society in collusion with the government, as we've seen over the last few years, well, really over history. It's not like that's anything new. But I just, like I said, while I stand by a journalist's right to do even the crappiest job without getting attacked, it's just really hard for me to jump on the victim train too. And I just wanted to say too that this is not a new thing. This is not a new thing. And so it concerns me that people think this is a new thing, and it's because of this event and because of COVID and crazy anti-vaxxers and domestic extremists, because people have distrusted the news for a long time. And it's a convenient narrative, I think, to just jump on the woe is us. Not that I'm saying, I think these people probably really believe that. Oh God, poor us, that it's just not safe right now. And it may not be safe. And like I said, that's not cool. But let's just take a hot second and think about why too. Okay? Why are people so concerned at this point about the press being around and having any insight into what they're doing? Why? And maybe if we answer that question, you could put the logos back on the car someday. Probably not. But maybe that just goes back to people wanting to take your camera and sell it or start their own YouTube channel. All right, everybody, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if you're watching this on Rumble, don't forget that you can join my locals community. You just got to hit the tab right there. Thank you for watching me on Rumble, if that's where you're watching me, because I'm brand new to Rumble. But of course, for everybody watching on the other platforms, thanks for sticking with me there. I don't even know if this video is going to go up on YouTube, but if it does go up on YouTube, you guys got this later than everybody else, so you should switch. And don't forget, you can always support my work by going to check out my sponsors, AllisonWinePromo.com. That is Allison with 1L winepromo.com. You get 50% off my favorite high altitude Malbecs from Argentina and 50% off shipping. They use no flavoring, no filtering, no dyes, and no excess chemicals. And one comes from the oldest vineyard in Argentina, which is pretty cool. The other comes from a vineyard at 8,950 feet. There's actually 3 in this pairing, which are different from the last 3. So go check them out, AllisonWinePromo.com, or check out TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison, TwinEngineCoffee.com/Allison. You get a wide variety of Nicaraguan roasts. They're also high altitude and USDA certified organic, small family-owned company. The CEO lives right there in Nicaragua where they grow, harvest, and roast the beans. So check out my sponsors, and I'll see you next time.